Hi, I'm Lois Mkize, and you're watching Joburg Today.
The South African Friends of Israel gathered in Pretoria last week for a peaceful march to the Union buildings. Their message to government was to reconsider its decision of downgrading the South African embassy in Israel. In May, South Africa withdrew its ambassador following the killing of Palestinian protesters at the Gaza border after the US decided to move its embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. The South African Friends of Israel marched to the Union buildings to hand over a signed petition to the South African government. Their message was that of peace and reconciliation, emphasizing why it was important that the government reconsiders its move. Of course, we were there to get both messages from the Christian and Jewish communities. In a peaceful effort to get the attention of the South African government, the South African Friends of Israel gathered outside the Pretoria Art Museum to march on to the Union buildings to hand over their petition. The atmosphere was festive with music, singing, and even some dancing in between.
I mean, it's an awesome day for the Christian community. For us, it's more like it's great to see so many churches from different doctrines, different places coming together to stand and to actually make their voice heard in South Africa, irrespective of what the political, whatever position could be of our communities or political parties. But then we are here coming together under one belief that we serve the God of Israel, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and therefore Jerusalem remains our biblical homeland. And we are mainly just carrying out a biblical mandate to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. And we are here also again just to speak to the government to say reconsider, and also with the same heart and spirit, please do consider that South African community, Christian community, they do need to stay connected to their homeland. This thing of cutting ties with the Holy Land will only deprive us from enjoying our biblical or enjoying our faith in terms of traveling to that side or maybe doing business that side. And you don't also see how will this cutting ties with Israel benefit the cause of both people. So we're coming to the state and saying, state, please hear the voice of Christians. We love Israel, and we love actually even we love also the Palestinians. We are only saying, be the voice of unity, be the voice that will unite these two people together, be the voice of reason, unify, don't divide. In terms of politics, we support peace, whatever way, whether it be a two-state solution, whether it be a one-state solution, whatever it needs to ensure that there is peace between these two people in that beautiful land, let it be. No, I've been to Israel. I've enjoyed the country. I traveled around a lot. Went to Jerusalem. You know, it was a wonderful experience. Even though that's not what I expected. You know, because when you look at on CNN and all these other media houses, you will find that there is war, and you won't expect that you actually will have a day, a sober, proper day where there's people walking around, Jews, Arabs, Ethiopian Jews, all of them walking around the streets of Jerusalem. It's a beautiful country. Go to Tel Aviv, go to Haifa, you will see that there is coexistence within the state of Israel.
I think for a working day, to be up against a BRICS conference happening in Sandton, I think it's amazing, and I think that the support that we have from the Christian community on a day like today is amazing. If one takes into account that 85% of our 57 million people are Christian, I think this gives you an idea of the grassroots support that we as the South African Friends of Israel have.
This is an important march for us because we really feel very strongly that the South African government is discriminating against both Israel and the South African Jewish community in applying double standards when it comes to its diplomatic relationships with Israel as opposed to every single other country in the world, by recalling its ambassador and considering carrying out the ANC resolution to actually downgrade the embassy of South Africa in Israel. The conflict in the Middle East is hundreds, if not thousands of years old. It's not easily solvable. It's a conflict where all sides have their own point of view. They feel that they're right and everyone else is wrong. And we've always felt that the real role that South Africa should be playing is very much the role what is bringing the experience of South Africa, of parties getting together around a table and actually working out our differences and creating the magnificent country, the free democratic South Africa that we have today. And that is the role. And South Africa is uniquely positioned because it has very close ties to all the sides, to the Palestinians, to the Israelis, and it could be a credible and important piece of the negotiation process. Instead, it's decided to take this very antagonistic action, which alienates its very own South African Jewish community as well as Israel, and therefore it actually it takes itself out of being able to make a positive contribution to actually allowing the parties to settle their differences and live in peace as we managed to 25 years ago.
Is there hope for a two-state solution?
There is hope because there's really no alternative. These are two very different nations. It's not like South Africa where everyone consider themselves South African. Here, the Israelis consider themselves Israelis, the Palestinians consider themselves Palestinians, and they each want their own piece of land, they want their own sovereignty. It's a very contested piece of land, it's very small, but if the will was there, I really believe that a solution could be achieved. It's come close once or twice before, and I think in a strange way, the conditions for achieving a lasting peace are in some ways better now than they've ever been before. And hopefully South Africa can see that it's made a mistake with this potential downgrade and recalling of the ambassador, send the ambassador back and become one of the parties that actually finally does the deed and creates these two states living peacefully side by side with each other.
Nashina Mohammed for Joburg Today.